Russia's borders have now been crossed. UK cleaning army missiles now have the potential to hit. Russia aimed to occupy Ukraine in a short time. The fact that a year has passed since start of the war shows that Russia's plans are no longer valid. Explosions and clashes are no longer confined to Ukraine. Hot developers are now coming from very close to Moscow. The hot devil up this week have brought Russia to its feet. Strategic points in Russia are no longer sick. Let's take a look at the details of this hot development and the latest operations of the Ukrainian Army. The Pioneer team is working hard to bring UN developments and VSO by compiling them from local and international sources. You can support the Pioneer team by using the Super Thanks so that this effort does not go required. The Ukrainian Army is getting stronger day by day. The support given to Ukraine is being used efficiently by the Ukrainian Army. The strength of the Ukrainian Army is being tested against Russia. This situation arouses great fear in Russia. Russia, confident in the power of its Air Force, is no longer sure of its effectivity, because there is a possibility that the Russian Air Force can be destroyed even on the ground on the night of March 1st. The operation organized by the Ukrainian Army shows that this possibility has become a reality. The Ukrainian Army has gained a great deal of time with its resistance for a long time. During this time, made by preparations to move to the offensive position. Ukraine's offensive does not have imperial goals like Russia. Ukraine's only goal is to liberate its occupied Tu-34 fighter bombers played a role in Russia's operation against Mariupol. These aircraft are based in the Yesis Air Jet Base and the city of Yesis, 150 kilometers inside the Russian border. On the night of March 1st, the Ukrainian Army event to Mariupol attacks. Ukrainian kamikaze drone launched a shock attack on the air jet base. The attack caused great panic in. The sirens of the base broke the silence of the night in the city of Yaz. As soon as the drones were spotted, the sirens started to sound with a great noise. But it was too late, because by the time the radar spotted the drones, explosions had already occurred. The people of Yaz were awakened by the sound before they realized what had happened. They were horrified to see the Yaz Air Jet Base because the jet base was no longer visible. It is estimated that the U-34 aircraft at the jet base suffered major damage. Russia never expected this attack, therefore it was unprepared. The southern air attack on the base shocked the whole of Russia to date. No official announcement has been made about the losses at the base. This confirms the extent of the damage to the jet base. This attack should be evaluated both in terms of Russia's losses and Ukraine. But the more important part here is Ukraine's potential, because the Ukrainian Army has proved to Russia that its fighting power has increased considerably. This fighting power makes Russia very uneasy. Russia has not been subjected to an operation with such a big impact since the beginning of the war. The operation shows that Russia is actually not safe. The Ukrainian Army continues its epic resistance against the Russian occupation in other regions. The equipment in the Russian Army's inventory, which gives the Russian Army an advantage, is being destroyed by the Ukrainian Army's strategic operations. Let's take a look at the damage suffered by the Russian Army. As a result of Ukrainian operations in recent days, the Russian ground forces are trying to break through the Ukrainian defenses with their armored vehicles. Aware of this, Ukraine is targeting these armored vehicles to reduce the Russian Army's potential to. In the past few days, Ukrainian Army units carried out that drone strike on an Asian depot belonging to the Russian Army. After the attack, many explosions occurred in the region. The Ukrainian Army, which is mastering the use of unmanned aerial vehicles day by day, is giving to Russian Army a hard time for Russia. The city of Donors has turned into a Kurt city. Russian armored vehicles entering the city cannot find a chance to leave, because the UKI Army destroys all Russian armored vehicles entering the city. Ukraine's 72nd Brigade deserves great prize for its successes in Donetsk. The 72nd Brigade, which played a major role in the defense of the city, is one of the units that the Russian Army fears the most. The 72nd Brigade, which did not give the Russian Army the opportunity, inflicted heavy losses on the Russian Army with its successful operations in Donetsk this week. Near a T-72 tank belonging to the Russian Army was blown up by an anti-tank mine. An MBMP-2 model infantry fighting vehicle was blown up by a GM fire. The brigade has inflicted great damage on Russia many times. The 72nd Brigade also destroys many targets of the Russian Army with drones. The Russian Army's Ta-DB VTech was also hit by the 72nd Brigade's drone attacks, while one Russian Ta-DB VTech was destroyed. Another Russian tank that came to its rescue was heavily damaged. The Russian Army is not only being hit by the 72nd Brigade in Donetsk, many different Ukrainian units are destroying Russian targets in Donetsk. Ukrainian troops are making extraordinary efforts to prevent Russian troops from crossing Donetsk. Another blow to Russian troops in Donetsk came from the Ukrainian 79th Assault Brigade. All the efforts of the Russian Army, which has been working hard to advance into the interior of Ukraine, are going again. Ukrainian troops are making all Russian efforts ineffective. This week, the 79th Air Assault Brigade of Ukraine destroyed destroyed the BMP-2M and BMP-3 infantry fighting vehicles of the Russian Army. BMP-type war vehicles have become training targets for Ukraine. Since Gulf War, the Ukrainian Army has destroyed many BMP vehicles and has become quite adept at destroying. The Ukrainian Army is not letting the Russian Army off the hook with attacks that are small in quantity but high effective in quality. Russia's economic collapse is now known to the whole world. The Ukrainian Army's attacks are causing the Russian Army's economic losses to increase logarithmically. Russia, which is already a corner twice sanctions, it has been hit with one after the other, has less and less room to. Therefore, it is very likely that Russia will use the antique equipment stored in warehouses in the coming days. The Ukrainian Army, on the other hand, is getting stronger every day with the support it receives, while Russia's nurses are increasing. Its hopes of winning the war are diminishing according to the latest updates. Russia's losses are as follows: 110-50-2000, 110-19 minutes. 3. Personnel 3,410 9, 6,683 Armor Infantry Fighting Vehicles 2,414, Itinerary Systems 487 meters LRS 247 Anti-Aircraft Systems 302 Aircraft 2066 Drones 5,289 Tankers as supply vehicles. The operation against the Yezd Air Jet Base should have shown Russia some truth. The perfect timing of the operation has shown the Russian military that its current losses will only increase. This has increased Russia's fear even more. Russia has become incapable of protecting its borders as long as the occupation continues. It seems that Russia's borders, of course, this possibility may disappear, that Russia gives up the occupation. So will Russia give up the occupation? We will see this together in the coming days.